What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to 49ers First Takes. I am joined by my co-host, Mike of SF Gold Rush. We're going to talk of some 49ers offseason. We're going to hit a little bit on the conference championship games. Just not breaking them down per se, but talking about how maybe this might have been the worst year for the 49ers to have a down year. We'll talk a little latest in the coaching news, what we should do as far as free agency, what could we look at the draft, and just kind of touch on some of that stuff for the next hour or so. But Mike, after watching those games yesterday, I remember you DMing me and telling me that this was like the worst year the Niners could have decided to have a reset year, be really hurt, and just not be able to get to the Super Bowl, because it's probably the most winnable championship that's been there in quite a while, and the Niners were not even close to being able to
Absolutely,
get there.
right? Yeah, it's crazy. Like you finally don't have a Mahomes in the Super Bowl, right? Like you don't have a Mahomes, you don't have like a Brady, you don't have, you know, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Like you don't have that super quarterback that can kill you at any moment. These quarterbacks going into the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold and Drake May. Are you kidding me? And this is the year that the 49ers take a year off where they couldn't get it done, right? You know, when the 49ers had their super team, of course they had their super teams when Mahomes was in the Super Bowl both times.
Right.
Now when they're like one step away from trying to get there, like they have Sam Darnold and Drake May that they have to beat, and they can't get the job done. And this is the year that they take it off. And it's like, dude, come on. It doesn't get any more wide open than this, right?
Yeah. This is the most wide open it's been in quite a while, where you really don't have a prohibitive favorite going into the Super Bowl. It's kind of a toss up.
Yeah.
You can make cases for both teams. Mike Vrabel and what he's been able to do in 1 year with the Patriots. Turned Drake May at least most of the season up until maybe the last playoff game. He looked kind of average, but just what the Seahawks have been able to do to build his roster up to be as good as they are to get to the Super Bowl. Either way, we were going to lose yesterday because NFC West team was going to be in our building with a chance to win another Super Bowl. So we said this off stream. So if the Patriots win, they will have won 7 Super Bowls since we last won one, which was the 1994-95 season. And the Seahawks will have won their second since the last time we won one. So, needless to say, it's the who's the lesser of two evils. Technically, we should be rooting for the Seahawks. I know this sounds ridiculous because they only have 2, and the Patriots won't have, they'll still have 6, and we'll still be able to reach them if we could just win one. Or you don't want somebody from the NFC West winning at any point. So yes, you're pulling for the Patriots. You said off stream, I got to get a Patriots jersey. I got to cheer for the Patriots. Man, I don't know who I'm cheering for in this game. I guess it's the Patriots.
You haven't decided yet? Come on, dude. I mean, it doesn't matter if the Patriots have 10 Super Bowls. You cannot have your division rival from up north fly down 1 hour and win the Lombardi Trophy in your house, and then have these Seahawk fans forever and ever
in your mentions.
Yeah, it's not doable. It can't happen. It's most likely gonna happen. I am a betting man, so I do think Seattle's gonna come out with it, but I am rooting desperately hard for Mike Vrabel to pull this off with Drake May, some way, somehow, to just get the win and call it. And we will dodge a bullet. And then guess what? Super Bowl's at SoFi next year. And I say, let's get some revenge on these Rams.
That would be the only way to make it right. I just, I didn't watch the games yesterday. You didn't either. But
my heart couldn't take it.
Yeah, I've kind of checked out emotionally from football. So like, I was not really pulling for anybody yesterday. And I'm really focused. I know this sounds ridiculous, but like, it's cool to take a little, like, we're doing a stream now. I don't know what is going to happen in the next couple weeks, but this is a really interesting offseason for the 49ers. So free agency is going to be really interesting for us. because we're going to be active. We have to be active, right?
Yeah, there's no choice. There's no depth on this roster. There's no talent.
There's no talent, no depth. We have aging stars that need to be surrounded with younger stars so that they can age out and possibly move on, traded or whatever at some point, which is something I wanted to ask you because I heard that is a topic that came up. Again, some people were melting down yesterday. I love Joe Shasky, but there was a lot of melting down. How do I say this? Not melting down. It was just everyone was like, "Oh, the Rams have the best quarterback, and they have this, and the Niners can't do this, and the Niners can't do that." And even if they were healthy, it's like, all right, let's take it down a couple notches. And you got to look at the Rams for what they are. They're healthy. They have 2 top 10 receivers. They have a really good running back, a healthy offensive line, a healthy defense,
Good tight ends
and good tight ends. Like the
running
Niners,
backs. Yeah,
there's a reason why the Rams are there and we're putting up points on the Seattle defense. And yes, is it an indictment on the 49ers and what they need to do? Sure. But to just beat yourself up over it when, we've been at the top for the last 4 or 5 years, I would say 5 to 6 years. Okay. So we've been there. We've been the team that's been in the conference championship games in the Super Bowl. Ebbs and flows are going to happen. Unfortunately, with this ebb and flow, a lot of it, the downward part of our particular, this particular season and last season, and the situation we were in right now as far as talent, is because we haven't been hitting on the draft picks.
absolutely.
That's really been the biggest problem, which forces you to go sign guys in free agency that end up really just coming to your team for money, and they don't really perform. So the Niners can absolutely get right back into things next season if they smash the draft and are smart in free agency.
But can they?
Can they? That's the thing. I want people to be balanced with their thinking, because I'm the most negative guy on the planet when it comes to the 49ers. But even I am you can have a strong offseason and all of a sudden you're right back in the mix.
I know. Is this Aaron? I don't.
Yeah.
Who is this guy I'm talking to right now? Because this
I don't know.
seem like the normal Aaron I'm used to hearing.
Well, because it just the NFL is so up and down every year, man.
It is.
Every time we think we have somebody figured out and who's going to be the best team for the next 10 years, you get the Legion of Boom that was only good for about 6 or 7 years, and then everybody got hurt and retired, and then that was the end of that. And then Russell Wilson he turned into a pumpkin, right?
Yeah. And look, both of these teams were not in the playoffs last year, so now they're both in the Super Bowl. So that's a big, big turnaround right there. Just having, these teams that nobody thought the Patriots were going to go to the Super Bowl this year. I think they were 80-1 odds or whatever, but it's pretty crazy. But like you said, can the Niners hit in the draft? History says no, because they haven't really been able to. And even this past draft class, where everyone after the draft was praising John Lynch, oh my God, we got a haul and this and that. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think they kind of reached on a lot of these picks. We'll see how they turn out. I mean, I don't really see any blue chippers, to be honest with you. Maybe they turn out to be. We'll see. It's early. It's year one. They got some meaningful reps. They got baptized by fire. They made some mistakes, but there's some promising. But as far as blue chippers, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's been the Niners' biggest issue is they've been missing on blue chip players to kind of keep this train moving, and that's what forces you to make really big mistakes in free agency or overpay guys on your own team, and so the Niners have kind of stepped in it, and they're paying for it. Again, like I said, things can change quickly in the NFL. A team can be really healthy one year and not be healthy the next. Players and franchises can remember who they are, and all of a sudden it's oh, I thought they were going to be, and then they're not. I feel like the Niners, if they take care of things this offseason, have a really good chance to, I won't say get back to the Super Bowl, but at least be in the conversation of a competitive team who has a chance to stay in a game with a team like Seattle in the divisional playoff and not get your ass whipped so bad that the game was over essentially at halftime. You know what I mean? So
no, 100%. But the thing is, if they don't change their draft strategy, Aaron, it's going to be the same thing over and over, right? It's the definition of insanity. They haven't changed anything. So I hate to say it, but I don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to just all of a sudden flip a switch, change everything that they have in their draft philosophy and their scouting department and be like, "Oh, okay, we're going to hit this one." Like history shows that they haven't, and they even last year when that was like a must-hit draft, right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They released so much talent, and they had to recoup it in the draft. That had to be an A+ draft, and to me, it was still a C. So this has to be an A+ draft again, and I see it being another C.
I mean, Nick Martin injury, never really got a chance to play this year, so he's an incomplete grade, right? CJ West and Alfred Collins were pretty solid this year, but also they weren't starting all year either. So there's that. And
they're supposed to be there to stop the run, and we couldn't stop the run.
Yeah.
Right?
But how much is that is the Niners defensive line and the line and maybe the linebackers that were behind them? Because the linebackers that played behind this defensive line this year were absolutely atrocious once Fred Warner got hurt.
Yeah.
So there's part of it is the defensive line, but a lot of it is the linebacking and the tackling. We had really bad tackling in our linebacking core and our safeties. So there's that too. I think if you surround growing players with more talent and they're not expected to be the end all be all, then you might see guys pop in their second year because now they're not expected to be. Because let's be honest, Mike, like CJ West and Alfred Collins were really the only two defensive linemen because Michael got hurt that had really any. They had youth and they do have talent that was on the field, and there was nothing really around those guys to help them.
Sorry, Kalia Davis and Jordan Elliott. Sorry, you guys don't count.
Yeah,
they're worthless. And the bad thing is we spent 3 draft picks on defensive tackle, and yet maybe one of our top needs this season is still defensive tackle, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard, man. It's hard. Like there's no yes, Alfred Collins, CJ West, they showed improvement as the season went on, but it's still like I just didn't get that oh, this guy's going to be special. You know what I mean? Not yet, but like you said, they have to be surrounded by a little bit of talent around them because you can't just have a JV squad out there because everyone's going to get blown up.
Yeah. I mean, if you have Ray Lewis playing on a defense with no talent around him, he's only so much Ray Lewis can do. You know, he can only tackle so many guys and do what he did best. The reasons great defenses are great is because they're great because they have a lot of players at every level. The Niners don't really have any players at any level that are really. No. I mean, Demo's a pretty damn good corner, but he's kind of small. I think Upton Stout, out of all the rookies, if you want to talk about blue chip, he shows the most promise. Mike, he looks like a really good slot corner.
Yeah.
Did he struggle a little bit here and there? Yes. But he also made a lot of big plays this year.
Yeah.
A lot of big plays.
And of course, a nickel corner is going to struggle. I mean, that's one of the hardest positions in football to play. Like you're pretty much left out there against the top wide receivers, and it's like you're a rookie and you're kind of undersized. Like, yeah, of course he's going to struggle, but the fact that he was able to make plays was pretty impressive. So I give him that tip of the cap to the scouting department on Stout for sure.
What do you feel? Do you feel a sense of almost? I've told this to my brother as like sometimes things need to go really bad sometimes for change to happen. Like his team got rid of their coach, got rid of their GM. They brought Jeff Hafley in. He's a really good, he's been talked about. He's a defensive coach, I think, and he was talked about even by Richard Sherman at one point a couple years ago. And they brought in a guy from the front office over in Green Bay too. They're trying to build through the draft and build a culture.
Yeah.
And totally lost my train of thought of what I was trying to say. Oh, okay.
Like,
So
you got to
like
hit rock bottom or something.
sometimes I feel like because this year was so bad and because we got exposed and because the Rams and the Seahawks were so much better than us this year, this is one of those years where they got to lock the in and they got to make the picks. They got to sign the right free agents. They have to not be cheap. Like if you need to go out and get a left guard in free agency to shore up your offensive line, you got to do it. If you
Yeah.
got to go get a wide receiver in free agency, or I don't know
2 or 3.
exactly, or do you make a trade for like a Max Crosby, or do you stay and sign Hendrickson in free agency? He's kind of old, but like those are the kind of decisions they're going to have to make. Like they have to add talent to this roster, like top end talent, not like
Yeah.
middle of the pack talent, top end.
I'm torn. I'm torn on making a big trade. Like number one, I don't trust them to use those picks the right way anyway. So it's kind of like
Right?
F those picks, right? But on the other hand, it's like this team has so many needs right now
They do.
that if you throw all those assets at one player, I don't know. It's really tough. If this team was just good at drafting, I'd be like, oh no, like we don't need a Max Crosby. We have to draft. We can get some mid-tier guys, not bottom tier guys like Keon White or Cleveland Farrell. I'm talking like mid-tier, not bottom tier or practice squad dudes.
Street
But
free agents.
yeah, like we need, we can get by with mid-tier guys because we draft well and we can replenish talent through the draft. But I don't trust them to do that. And even though we drafted 3 defensive tackles, guess what? We need more defensive tackles. How
Yeah,
how is that? So
we drafted an edge technically in the top 12, but we're probably going to need another edge rusher or two.
yep.
You can't depend on a guy like what's his face? The guy that's always hurt all the time.
Pearsall.
No. On defense, on the defensive line. His
Uh
name is escaping me. He's always hurt. He was
Bosa?
hurt all no, yeah, the Bosa too. Oh my gosh. Yatir Gross Matos.
Oh. See, I don't even think of him as like even on the team. I'm like, that dude played like 3 games. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely not. See, he's bottom tier guy. We need mid
Adios,
tier.
Elliott and Yatir Gross Matos. 100% agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both of those guys gotta go. I was listening to Larry. Larry's been pretty hard on the Niners this offseason on John Lynch, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish, like you said, they would do it in the media room. A lot of these
Yeah,
guys
right,
talk hella trash, right?
bro.
The only one who has any balls and who I can't stand, you know who he is. You know his
Oh yeah,
minions.
Grant. Yeah, like he'll he'll
Yeah,
he'll ask some good questions sometimes. It's just like, but
he's a
like,
dweeb.
I just they're so soft and they ask the most worthless questions. Like, dude, you
Softball
have 1 or
questions.
2 questions to ask for the entire fan base, and you ask a question like, um, do you think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback? What is he gonna say? No, I think he's a horrible quarterback. I want him off my team. You ask questions that you already know the answer to, right? Not
Right.
not like in-depth questions like, hey, what is your strategy for building your roster? Do you guys, your strategy for drafting has been horrible. What are you going to change in your scouting department this
Yeah.
year? What are you going to change in your draft process this year? Are you going to bring in outside people? Are you like just you have one question, just ask a good one.
Here's one. With all the injuries that's happened on this team the last 10 years or so,
Mm-hmm.
is there a consideration or even a conversation about bringing in or at least looking into your strength and conditioning staff? Nobody asked it like that. And John shot it down immediately like, no, we've put a lot of stuff into it. We put a lot of effort and allocated this and done that. They're not going to make any moves in their strength and conditioning staff. Of course not.
No,
And the
absolutely not.
fact that nobody even asks is the worst part. If you're going to ask them about the draft, Mike, you have to ask them at almost like, okay, so the Niners, these last couple of drafts haven't really maybe drafted quote unquote blue chippers. And you ask them what could change this year to maybe hone in and really try to find yourselves your next generation of stars, as you have aging stars on the roster. Again, nobody asks that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the
Like
problem with the West Coast media. Being an
soft.
East Coaster, see, East Coast if watch East Coast media or podcast or radio shows, and then watch West Coast.
They
East
don't pull
Coast guys
punches
are
on.
always losing their mind, right?
Yeah.
Screaming, just like completely like spitting everywhere, like it's ridiculous. And West Coast guys are like, as soon as they get the guy from the front
John,
office
what do you
on the
have for
radio,
lunch today? Like what? You've
did you
missed
go?
on your last 30 draft picks. Why don't you ask about that?
Yeah, like they won't do it. They're afraid. I think that's one of the reasons that they got rid of Dante Whitner on their post game is Dante's the type of guy that calls the 49ers out, and they don't want that. They don't want that
Oh.
kind of pushback in the organization. He has that podcast now with Rod Brooks and Patrick Willis, and he went to town.
Yeah.
He
He
went to town
started
on the
that.
49ers, and it was great.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
um, let's talk about the fake rumor that popped up online before the stream. Some random person, and I want to turn it into a topic. So somebody made a comment that like John Lynch begged for his job, and Kyle had advocated for him to give him one more year, and that they were going to fire him. There's no proof. Nobody's talking about it. None of the big name guys are talking about it. But like, Mike, would it be fair to say that John Lynch at least is on a short leash to start to draft and bring in some talent and like start to grow some new stars on this team? Because the Niners have been living kind of on past glory for a while.
Yeah.
And you got guys aging out. You have like Bosa's
They've been
aging
living
out.
on Kittle. They've been living on Warner. Those draft picks that they hit, those late gem picks that they're able to find, but they haven't drafted a blue chip player since when? Like Purdy, yeah, that's your blue chipper, but that was 7th round. That was dumb luck. You just happened to hit on that after you blew 3 first-round draft picks on Trey Lance. So I definitely think there has to be some kind of consequence for drafting this poorly. I mean, I even put a suggestion out. They should just let the fans decide, draft night, just like, hey, let's take a poll. Who do you guys want to pick? There's no way that the fans would pick worse than what John Lynch has pulled out in these last couple of drafts. And then can you just imagine a scenario where Kyle had a GM like Howie Roseman or Snyder, right? Like a guy that can bring real talent to the team, and Kyle just dialing up plays and calling the shots for these guys that actually have talent. Like that would be an unstoppable force. And it just sucks because we're stuck with, half these players I'm sure Kyle wants and John just gives the okay, but it's just not fair because if we just had a GM that was in charge of just straight, like Kyle, sit on the couch. I'll call you back to the draft room after we're done with all the picks, and I'll let you look over what we got. After that, like, don't tell me anything. He shouldn't be allowed to choose anybody. I mean, with all the reaches that they've done in wide receiver and running back, and they all haven't panned out. Dante Pettis and Joe Williams, like, come on, dude, no. Let a GM who has
Danny
strict
Gray.
personnel, all these guys who has strict personnel experience, have Kyle make a wish list. I need a running back who does this, or a wide receiver who does this. All right, cool. Give me your shopping list. I'll find the guys for you, and I'll get them. If we had that, man, we'd be a dynasty.
So John and Kyle early on hit in the draft. They did. And they got their Kittles, they got their Warners, they got a lot of guys. Greenlaw. I'm missing a bunch of people, but the Niners made some seriously great acquisitions roster-wise through the draft. I was watching a podcast with Larry. I forgot who he had on with him, but he thinks that John Lynch maybe should be moved out of the GM role and maybe become more of a president, because they think that John really doesn't have any power and that it's up to Kyle to pick all these players, at least on offense. I feel like the Niners needed a new voice in the draft room, a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Because their current perspective isn't working. I wish the Niners wouldn't draft so scheme specific, and they would just draft the best players available and figure out a way. One of the
Yeah.
things my nephew always said that was true, he goes, when he would be like, well, why didn't the Niners draft this guy? And I'm like, well, he doesn't fit their scheme. And my nephew would be like, make him fit their scheme. Like,
If
if
you're
you're a
that,
good,
if he's that good of a player, he fits any scheme, right?
like this scheme specific trash is crazy. You know, like the Michael Williams pick, he was picked specifically to be a run stopping defensive end. I would like to pick an edge rusher in the top 12, a
Yes.
difference maker, like a guy that with him and Bosa can each get, 18, 16, Bosa gets 14 sacks, he gets 12. That's great for two bookend guys. But no,
Yep.
you're drafting a guy who essentially is Eric Armstead on the outside.
Yes.
And who's better suited to play inside because of his power and his length and all that stuff. Why just draft an edge guy? Like I don't get this.
You can find a run setting edge defender later in the draft. Those aren't high commodity, items. A speed edge rusher, that is high price, and you have a high priced asset in pick number 12 or 11, whatever they picked at. Use that for that. It makes no sense.
Howdy 49ers says if they can hit on O-line and wide receivers in the draft or free agency, a lot of sins will be forgiven. Yeah, offensive line and speed. A lot of the Niners' problems offensively could change really quickly. Sterling, when he did the show on Friday, Sterling thinks the Niners should go heavy free agency on offense and continue building defense in the draft. Like get fresh, more fresh bodies on defense, get more depth, and more edge. Another a free safety, another corner. There's talk that Renardo Green could be moved along with Pearsall, depending, because Larry Kruger and both Grant Cohn have said the same thing. Now, take it with a grain of salt if those guys really know anything, but getting speed in the wide receiver room, maybe drafting a running back or bringing in a running back that has a little bit of juice. Let's be honest. McCaffrey's really good, but he's slow. He's gotten slow. Yeah. Kittle has gotten slow. Jawan Jennings is slow. Pearsall really hasn't shown the speed that everybody talks about, so he's kind of slow.
And he couldn't beat any press man against Seattle. That's for damn sure.
So my thing with the 49ers is if you can somehow add to your offensive speed kills. I was watching highlights from Raheem Mostert a couple years ago in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Nobody could touch him, dude. He was 25 yards downfield. Nobody touched him. That's how bad we miss speed. We're so congested the way we run offense. Nobody can get open downfield. Our offensive line can't hold up. Like it's a combination of like both. Brock, you were telling me before the stream, like Kurt Warner broke down the film and Brock had no one to throw to. It looked like poor play calling by Kyle. It looked like poor effort by the wide receivers. Like they need to address
they need speed. Desperately need speed. There was nobody open in those breakdowns. It was really, really. I've never really seen anything like it from a professional viewpoint. But like on the other hand, I totally agree with what Sterling says, because if you draft wide receivers, Kyle won't play them anyway.
Exactly.
So you might as well get them in free agency, plug and play them, get exactly what you want. Don't play this guessing game with, is Jacob Cowing, is he going to turn out, or is Jordan Watkins going to turn out, or Danny Gray? Like all these wide receivers that they've drafted that don't see the field. Just get one that's proven, that that you like, has all the traits that you like, that knows how to block. Just go get those guys. It doesn't have to be a Jamar Chase. It doesn't have to be a Justin Jefferson. I would rather the 49ers do something, get some upper mid-tier wide receivers, because in Kyle's system, they can work. Right now we're working with literally like the bottom of the ocean of wide receivers. It literally doesn't get worse than what we have. We have the worst wide receiver corps in the whole NFL. So it's only up from here. I know our division has top wide receivers on every team. Arizona has Harrison, Seattle's got JSN, and the Rams have Puka and Adams. I don't think we need that Justin Jefferson type. I think we can get away with, just a bunch of different targets for Brock to throw the ball to, because he's accurate. He can get the ball to them. But we just can't be working with what we have right now.
The Niners need multiple guys with speed on offense.
Yes.
So instead of blowing your wad on one guy, sign multiple guys.
Yes.
The Howdy did make a good point. He's like, the Niners have been really strong in the UDFA running back. You never want to draft running back with the 49ers again, because they probably won't end up playing anyway, especially if they can't pass block. Yep. Wide receivers, if they're David said, if they're not a first round, they're not touching the field. That's the case. If I'm the Niners in free agency, I make 3 moves. I go address a wide receiver position and get some speed, whatever that may be. 2 guys if it needs to be. I would get a starting left guard out of free agency. And I would try to find a backup tight end in free agency.
Yeah.
To help George Kittle, whatever that may be.
But like a real tight end, not I don't know why he always does these split, like one's a blocking tight end, one's a receiver. Like find the hybrid, right? Like find one that does both. To me,
me and you down the line are gonna have
horrible.
We're gonna have to look down the line, me and you, when we do some more off-season stuff about in the free agent pool of like guys we could target as far as like tight ends. I wouldn't mind if they made 2 offensive line moves in free agency and they went and got him. They're in love with Jake Brendel, from what the guys were telling me on Friday, especially Sterling. They love Brendel.
Oh, they love him.
I don't know why. He's horrible. He's absolutely dog water pissed.
They love his mind, his cerebral processing. But you kind of have to block for your quarterback too. That's part of it.
Dominic Pooney, he was hurt early this year, so I kind of have an incomplete kind of feeling with him, because his rookie year he was really good, and then he hit the rookie wall, and then this preseason he jacked his knee up really bad, and I don't think he was ever the same this year. Knee injuries for offensive linemen, Mike. I mean, I'm a 6'3". I'm a 6'3", 6'2.5", 6'3". I'm overweight right now. Your knees, when you're heavy, take a pounding.
Yeah.
So your joints, like if you're a big guy and your joints go, and especially your knee, you're beat. So, but they need to do something.
He stuck it out, right? And he played. He stuck it out and played.
McKivitz is a solid right tackle, Mike. You can't spend money on both your tackles.
No,
you just can't. And McKivitz, to me, unless like they draft or they find somebody who's an absolute upgrade in the draft, McKivitz is a solid player.
But they do need to get somebody ready for Trent, right? Like
they do.
Least, like start molding them sooner than later.
Connor McGovern would be an immediate upgrade at center, and he plays guard as well. Who does he play for, McGovern?
Connor McGovern.
Or are we talking draft here?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I haven't even got that far in my life.
I am so, like you checked out of football on Sunday like I did. I caught the end. I caught the end of the Seattle game. Oh, he's on the Bills. Sure. Bills need all the talent they could get. They shouldn't be letting anybody go.
Don't they have a bad offensive line?
Yeah. Well, I guess he's one of their only good players, I guess.
Oh.
The thing with the Bills here, you want to talk about a team that's kind of the AFC version of the 49ers, is the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
They've missed a lot of draft picks. They're not really super talented anywhere on their team other than their quarterback.
Yeah.
If Josh Allen was to get hurt and retire, the Bills would be a cellar dweller.
Oh yeah.
They're not good. They're not talented. Their rosters, the Niners have a lot more talent, even in a compromise as we were this year. We were still way more talented than Buffalo. If you look at just
I mean, they were hurt. They were devastated with injuries too. The injury bug hit them really hard as well.
Bills are far more cash strapped. Yeah, the Niners are going to have, at least right now, $50 million. I know they're going to make up some money with the Ayuk situation. If they release him with a post June 1st designation, they can split the cap cost instead of paying it all in 1 year or whatever. So that's what they're probably going to do, dude. Wide receiver to me is the biggest upgrade that needs to be done on this team offensively. Is offensive if Yeah, I would say if offensive line and wide receiver are neck and neck, I would say offensive wide receiver 1 and offensive line would be 1A, like very close second. They need speed. They need speed on their skill positions. They have slow skill position players.
Yes, absolutely. And after you watch that breakdown, that will confirm your beliefs even more because it's going to drop your jaw. And even when Purdy did have some openings there to get the ball out, I think he just didn't trust them to be where they were supposed to be. And he was a little gun shy because the entire game, these guys were just all over the place and they weren't running the right routes and everything was covered. And I think, it didn't give him confidence in them for him to throw them the ball. So, yeah, even when Purdy he had opportunities, I don't blame him because he was like, is that dude going to cut the right way or is he going to keep going or, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I highly suggest all 49er fans watch that breakdown of Kurt Warner in that last Seattle game. And it really opens your eyes to how bad this offense is struggling with the lack of speed, the lack of talent at wide receiver. And it wasn't all on Purdy. It definitely wasn't all on
No.
Purdy.
Well, we said that last week. Me and you
Yeah.
were both like, I'm not blaming Purdy for the loss.
Yeah, no way.
Are you
No
kidding
way.
me? There's so many. If there was a list, Purdy would probably be like 6th on the
Yes,
list.
absolutely.
Kyle's coaching and play calling would probably be on there.
Yep.
There's a lot of other players I would have put in front of
Brock for
Purdy
sure.
during that game. What's up, Dre? How you doing, man? I'm surprised you're still up right now, homie.
Big Dre.
He works overnights or like early mornings or something. I'm surprised he must have just like popped on real quickly.
Oh man.
Are you sleepwalking? No, I'm just
yeah.
I never see him on most streams this late because of his work schedule. But
well, we're kind of a big deal, so I think he wants to,
yeah.
drop in and say what's
up.
Oh,
Dre had a really good turnout. So we did the stream on Monday or Friday. All of us had like really low views coming out of the stream, and then he skyrocketed to like 2K.
Oh, damn! All right.
I was like, hell yeah, son. I was
Big
like,
Dre.
because I was having some pretty good numbers over the last couple of weeks, but like you said, football's popular, the Niners, and then like the last stream was just like bottom came out. So if YouTube makes no sense.
Yeah.
Every time you think
algorithm
you got it figured,
is very crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. He said he's heading to bed soon. Dude, I used to work 4 a.m.s. I used to work in a bakery. Sometimes I'd have to go in at 3 a.m. Sometimes I'd have to go in at 1 a.m. depending on if we had huge orders and stuff. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah.
That's why I have insomniac problems. I have insomnia now because of the overnights that I used to work. But
yeah, that'll take years off your life, man.
It did. It messes you up, especially if you have injuries or you're hurt or something. You don't get enough sleep. You don't really recover. One of the things they talk about in the press.
To bed so he doesn't get insomnia.
Yeah. Don't be like me and drink coffee all day. One of the things they talked about in the press conference that they brought up was the substation, the electrical substation.
Uh-huh.
Are you even surprised? I was surprised that John Lynch actually addressed it.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you have so many injuries like that, people have to come up with something, right? There's got to be some type of explanation.
It was on the Joe Rogan show, bro.
Yeah, it's wild.
I was like, wow, we've hit Joe Rogan level where they think there's some sort of like.
That's how bad it got. That's how bad our injuries got. We're going into conspiracy theories and Joe Rogan show and all this crazy stuff when all they got to do is just change their goddamn training staff and their habits and stop getting our players hurt. And I think part of it too is the age of our roster, right?
Yep.
We usually have a older roster, and I think guys are getting hurt because they're older. But it is.
Somebody made a good point, and I know it's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. When do you start looking at a guy like Bosa and say to yourself, like, he's pretty compromised?
3 ACLs.
He'd be a guy that I wouldn't. I know people are going to rake me over the coals, but whatever, who cares? For the 6 people that watch the show. I mean, he would be a player, in a year or two, maybe a year. Like if he has another down year or, he doesn't bounce back from the knee injury. I mean, you could recoup some draft picks for him. That's somebody who's looking for like a one player away on a team that's trying
Yeah.
to make a Super Bowl, and you can get some picks back for him. The Niners have to look at all avenues to get better. They have to improve in all areas. George Kittle, he's going to retire a 49er. That's not going to happen. But like, man, like Kyle Juszczyk, do we really need him? Do we really need
No.
to spend that money? Could we use that on somebody else? Like,
Yes.
the Niners have, like you said, have been operating a certain way for a long time, and now these guys have gotten really old.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you can't depend on these guys anymore, and you're screwed because you've missed on draft picks and you've overpaid in free agency for guys that didn't fit. And so now you're in this position where not only do you have to slam the draft, but every free agency move that you make this year has to be a home run. I mean, you had to nail it.
Yeah. It sucks, Aaron, because Bosa was looking superhuman at the beginning of the season, man. He was playing so damn good. And of course, he has that freak injury. It didn't even look like an ACL when it happened. And it happened on grass, so you can't say the turf thing, right? So, like, I don't know, man. Bosa could have been so amazing this year. And yeah, he's gonna, recover. He's gonna take care of his body, and he's gonna come back like a man on fire. But like you said, he's compromised. 3 ACLs now. I don't know if you're even allowed to have a fourth. That's just like that's a wrap, bro.
You can't be so stubborn on old players. I mean,
what do you do with your bookends? Who do we have?
I mean, you're going to have to make a move, whether that's trade or free agency. You're going to have to bring in an edge player, and you're probably going to have to draft an edge player too.
Yeah,
if not in the first, second round.
but I don't trust Kocurek to make the right decision on defensive tackles or defensive line.
I'm not a big fan of the wide nine anymore. I don't know about you, but I've kind of
a lot on all these D tackles, man. I don't know how they get advice from him. Obviously, like, hey, does he fit your scheme? Like, yeah, but then why do you whiff on all these dudes that you Drake Jackson, Javon Kinlaw, Solomon Thomas, right? Like,
bust.
How do you whiff that bad? And you're supposed to be this guru. I don't know.
I don't know how much. I would love to know how much draft input Chris Kocurek actually has
on D line. I would think he would have quite a bit, because
I know when they draft guys, he gets really excited. I mean, like Bosa was a sure thing, though.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Joe Bosa's like, if you don't make that pick and you go draft anybody else, like, you imagine if they would have drafted somebody like Clelin Ferrell.
Yeah. Oh God.
I mean, you have him on your team as a backup to the backups because everybody's injured, but like, he was a no-brainer. Quinnen Williams, no-brainer. The Niners could have drafted either of those guys. Like, these guys are so old now. They've gotten so old. I mean, Warner to me, I think he'll be good for a while. I mean, look at Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks. Yeah. He's been in the league a long time. He's finally starting to go down, but he's been a silo linebacker his whole career. So someone like Warner, I don't really worry about too much. He's been relatively healthy.
There's certain positions that have a longer lifespan in the NFL. Like look at Khalil Mack, for instance, right?
Right.
He's been playing since I was like 1 year old. I feel like he's been in the league my entire life.
Wait,
you know what I mean? I'm 40. I feel like this dude's been in the league since I've been born.
Yeah, Khalil Mack's been in the league a long time. Yeah, I was like 20. I was like 7. No, I was not 17. I'm 46. He's been but like certain guys in the roster, you
can play a little bit longer. So I think Bosa still has a little bit of a lifespan left.
But they need to insulate this roster and Bosa with a ton of. They got to insulate I would rather. Me and my brother were talking about this. Mr. Dolphins fan. He thinks that, me and him both agree that Bosa should be starting to transition. I know this is ridiculous because he's almost 30. I would start making him a rotational pass rusher, make him a third down guy. Start bringing in other bodies, fresher bodies. Got to have rotation. You got to have rotation.
He's good at the run game too.
I know, but you got to save him from himself.
I know. Yeah.
And like, dude, maybe not have 2% body fat. Maybe have 10% body fat. Do you really need to be that ripped? Like,
No,
come
it's
on
true,
now.
and they play him like what, like 90% of the snaps or something. It's like really
O's
crazy.
is always in there. And like you ever see him when he's on the sideline? He is exhausted.
Yeah,
Him and McCaffrey are two guys where you like forcibly have to take them out of the lineup or they'll
yeah,
never come out. Like
yep,
McCaffrey's ridiculous. Um,
yeah.
we can look at the draft. So draft wise, I'm thinking line of scrimmage with either of the first two first and second rounder in any particular order. I really don't think the 49ers are going to draft a center or a guard or a tackle replacement at whatever pick, what, 27?
No, you can't take a
Um,
guard that high anyway.
the Niners, the only thing I could see personally, they either draft another wide receiver
Probably
at 27. Kyle gets his, his
his
undies
toy.
his undies all starched and he gets happy.
Uh-huh.
And and you're gonna have to play him because he's a first rounder. You can't do this like sit down crap with like Cowling and Watkins. I've never seen a team that is so depleted of talent that has the balls to sit guys because
Yeah,
of principle. Like,
and lack of speed. Like, bro, they can't just run straight. They can't run go routes. Like, just clear one person out of the defense. Just run straight, bro. Just run
how are
straight
you in?
for the whole game.
Did you hear his like diatribe about his whole time frame of why Watkins could never get on the field or whatever? It was like,
Uh,
dude.
I think I remember
Well, he
hearing
was
it, but
hurt, and then this thing happened, and then he's got to be the better than the guys we're putting out there because the guys we're putting out there have been depended on, and they've been playing together all year. And I'm just like, who gives it, man?
yeah,
You don't have speed.
yeah.
I
Just
love
get him
what
out there to run.
I
Who
love what
cares?
Kendrick Bourne did for us this year, but he's Kendrick freaking Bourne.
Yeah,
Like, what
it's
is he
bad.
doing? And it's just like that.
If Jordan Watkins doesn't know the entire route tree, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure the dude knows how to run in a straight line.
Howdy 49ers already got his draft hat on. Man, you're my dude. I'm going to have
Oh
you on the
wow,
show. He says
an
Cassius
interesting.
Howell would be an interesting defensive end prospect at 27. I'm going to start looking at draft stuff because I got my own
Cassius
viewer in my
Howell.
stream knows more than I do. Freaking awesome, dude. That's awesome.
That's great.
I'm going to
I'm
come back
telling you,
through the comments
John
later.
Lynch and Kyle should let the fans draft for them. That's what I'm advocating for.
Joseph Murnberg says we should trade back. So accumulate picks, maybe pick it like 31 and maybe I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that.
We've missed on all of our other first round
They
picks,
have
but
they
might as
have
well go back in the
they
second.
have a lot of needs in the draft.
Yes.
As much as I don't want them to trade Mac Jones because hold on. One of the things that was being said on 95.7 the game by co-host of Shasky is like you got to start looking at him even moving Brock possibly for draft picks. And I was just like because he's been hurt, He's like, if you're not going to keep Mac and you got to even start looking at a guy like Brock, if he can't stay healthy. And that's where they lost me on that one.
Yeah. He's being
But
emotional.
people are being way too emotional this offseason. Calm down. I'm telling you.
And that's coming from Aaron, guys. That's coming from Aaron.
If they can have a good draft and be strong in free agency, they can be right there. They can be right back there. I'm telling you. Because every year we think we got teams figured out, and then teams take a step back. Somebody gets injured. I'm just saying, am I confident that the Niners are going to make it to the Super Bowl next year? No. Do I think they have an opportunity to improve their team in one offseason and get back into contention? Absolutely. 100%.
Well, they better because the Super Bowl's at SoFi, and I want to see them host the Lombardi in LA just to rub it in the Rams' face. So
Joseph, I've seen this all over social media. Trade Kyle to the Bills for multiple picks. I've seen that. I know. Somebody had like Kyle in like a Bills shirt and hat, and I was just like,
that?
"Jeez." Some people posting they want to trade. They're like trade Kyle to the Bills for like a bunch of picks and stuff. The Bills need all those picks. They're not doing that. So my thing with the draft is it's either going to be offense or defensive line. Or at least that's what I want. Knowing them though, they might go wide receiver.
I think they're going to go offensive weapon.
Yeah, take a tight end.
I wouldn't mind. See, I wanted them to do that last year over Michael. I wouldn't have mind that either. Just take, George Kittle's towards the end. Start getting those pieces in advance.
That's how
But
the teams in it. I know a lot of you guys, a lot of people are pretty young, but the teams of the 80s kind of always had guys down the pipeline. There was a safety that we had that if he wouldn't have gotten injured, probably would have been, another Ronnie Lott. His name was Jeff Fuller. He ended up having a fracture in his spine from a tackle, which essentially, or his neck, fractured some stuff, lost usage of his arm. But he was like a really good up and coming safety. And what I was saying was that we had Ronnie Lott and we had all these guys, but there was always guys in the pipeline ready to take over. Like Wesley Walls was there. We had John Franks. We had Brent Jones come in after him. You had all these other positions that they were constantly turning over. Like the roster from, say, like the mid 80s to the late 80s, there was a huge turnover in players where the Niners had depended on all these guys. And then, like, by the time they hit 89, it was completely different. Like, there was so many different guys on the roster. And the point I'm trying to make is, like, Walsh had to make some decisions where guys didn't forgive him until after their playing careers because they were traded early. The Niners would get rid of them early to get the most worth out of them in a trade just so they can go and draft another guy to replace him. You have to look at it like that. You have to. This loyalty thing is great and everything. Like Warner, I could see him being here for life, like Kittle for life. But like to me, even a guy like Bosa, I know people are going to kill me for it. Even a guy like Bosa, if Bosa doesn't return to form in the next couple of years, would you be against trading a guy like that? Like Christian McCaffrey eventually, like you have to have some serious conversations. Like,
like Jose says, best player available. Like you can't keep grabbing these guys that, like you said earlier, right? Scheme specific, and you're missing out on these super talented dudes. I love how he said, I'm 25. I've only witnessed failure.
My nephew is turning 30 this year. So he was born the summer after. So he was born in that summer of 95. The Super Bowl was in 95, of course, but the season was 94. So I was a freshman in high school the last time they won. So I'm 46. I'm old. I went from being a zit-faced teenager to an overweight, bearded adult. So, yeah, Kyle Pitts from Atlanta totally would make that. Yeah, why not? You can't be against anything this offseason. Like anything that anybody brings up in the comments, like any talented player that somebody, even if it's outlandish, is a good idea. I really mean that. Like
the need for playmakers on this offense is, I mean, I thought I knew until I saw that breakdown, but oh my God.
Walsh was not afraid to get rid of stars.
They need help, man. They need help on offense. So yeah, I'm not against it at all.
They have a first, a second, a third. I forgot how their picks work out this year, but I mean, this has got to be the year where they got to hit hard. Would you trade Mac Jones if the right package comes? I would.
It depends what it is, though. I would it would almost have to include a player. To me,
what about a second round pick? And
that's bare minimum. I mean, because you would get a third pick for compensation if you sign somewhere else anyway. So second round, that's bare minimum.
What about the comments? Would you trade away Mac Jones if we could get some draft picks that we could use? Or are you afraid?
The floor has to be a second round pick. And
would you bring in a guy like Zach Wilson, quarterback, as a backup? Another project? Got a good arm. He's young. He's only 26.
Is he cerebral though?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not.
I would say Joe.
The thing with Mac is, he's a smart guy.
Joseph Vermerg says yes, and yes.
But look how valuable Mac Jones was to us.
He's too valuable. He is. He's really. I personally don't want to trade him because Brock has. Brock's really been. You say Brock has had health issues, but this was the first year he's really missed games because he made the season, the NFC Championship game where he tore his his elbow up,
Yeah.
his UCL. Like he played that whole year next year. We went to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So really, Brock's only missed like this whole thing where like there's illusion he's like injury prone. Fix your offensive line. That'll help.
Yeah. He played with broken ribs in Seattle his second start, right? So he
Zach
can
Wilson
play
is
through injury.
just a better Brock. I don't know about all that.
Whoa,
I would
whoa.
eat. I don't know about all that. I mean, hell no. We
Yeah.
don't need a project. We need someone who will be ready if Purdy goes down. Keep Mac. I know. I'm the same. I
Look how valuable Mac was to us. I think we actually, the very first stream I did with you guys, that was one of the questions on the round table was, would you trade Mac Jones? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, no way. He's
Joseph
so
Herbert.
valuable to us. He got us 5 wins this year. He's the only reason why we made the playoffs.
Joseph Herbert says he doesn't even think Brock is a top 32 quarterback. I don't know about that.
Hey,
I don't know if you're. I don't know
on.
if you're trolling. You're doing a really good job.
Yeah, come on.
To me, I mean, would I say he's top 5? No. Top 12? Sure. Like, look around the league. Like, honestly, tell me around the league who has an elite quarterback other than Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. Who else?
I mean,
who else is elite?
There's not.
Stafford.
I mean,
Stafford's an elite quarterback.
Dak's played pretty well.
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't count him as elite. Absolutely not.
All his metrics and his statistics show
You still have the Maple Missile Rourke in development as well. That is true. Hello, guys. Enjoying the show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a little quiet in here in the beginning. And all of a sudden people came in, so we appreciate it.
And then you have to look at what Brock has to work with, right? Like he's not working with all these superstars around him anymore.
Yeah, like Stafford doesn't get punished for working with 2 top 10 receivers.
Yeah,
but if
and
Brock
Kyren
brings
Williams and all these other guys,
and Kyren
right?
Williams, he's got 2 tight ends. All of a sudden, Brock has the same Rolodex of talent, and he's carried. Who cares if he's carried? Who cares if you win and win the Super Bowl? Does it really matter if somebody's I don't care.
The Niners finished with the same record as the Rams, and we had none of the talent.
You two are goated. Oh, thank you. No, honestly, seriously though, Mike, does it really matter?
No.
If somebody said to you, Brock Purdy's always going to be looked at as a system quarterback, but you're going to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 10 years, would you care?
Absolutely not.
Neither would I. I don't care. I don't care anymore. All that is media talk for First Take and all these stupid shows.
Yeah. And I know it's not
freaking
true.
Ryan Clark saying that Brady and Peyton Manning weren't generational quarterbacks. So, like, what do people really know? Nobody knows anything. Who cares?
When you really watch it and you see the stuff that he's able to do, just even like his mobility, his ability to extend plays, avoid negative plays from scrambling, layering throws in. He has elite talent, and I'm fine with.
But look at the windows he has to throw with, though.
Exactly.
Brock has such small windows to throw because he has such lackluster weapons. Nobody's ever wide open.
No.
Everything is a layered throw, a short throw, a slant, an over. Like, you never see just a guy running down the sideline like in 2023 when that really awesome play to Ayuk where it was like a seam, and you never see that.
Yeah.
Every throw Brock makes is contested because we got nobody that can get open downfield. It's ridiculous.
When Brock's throwing that ball, what's in his head is like, oh, dude, please be in the right spot. Please be where you're supposed to be. Please run the right route, because I don't think he has confidence in any of these wide receivers that he's throwing to.
Would you, if that was your?
No, absolutely not. So he's going to be a little gun shy. He's going to be maybe a little hesitant when he throws the ball because he just knows these guys are probably not running the right routes.
What about something we talked about? So Salah's out the door. We lost him after 1 year. Who's your who would you like to see in here as a defensive coordinator? I'm really looking to hope. See, here's the thing. If they bring in Morris and Morris has a good year, Morris is going to get a head coaching opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy that really makes any sense, but they probably won't bring in, is going to be Schwartz.
Jim, yeah.
He's proven he can't be a good head coach. he might end up being the coach in Cleveland because nobody wants to coach there. But like, I love that they have this internal confidence in Gus Bradley, but do you really want Gus Bradley being the guy
I
calling
really
your
don't.
defense,
I don't,
especially
bro.
if guys come back healthy next year and you have the rookies that played decent, and then you bring in talent in free agency and the draft, and all of a sudden you have maybe we're healthy next year. I know that's like I don't even want to think about next year and injuries because it's almost a given there's guys going to be hurt. But like, say we have a really healthy year like 2023 next year, would you really want a Nick Sorsen type guy coaching the defense, or would you want a really good, really good, strong a defensive coordinator? Me, I would
Yeah.
love for a guy like Raheem Morris or Schwartz. What about you?
That's a good question, Aaron. I'm very torn on this because I really don't know who the best option is out there right now. Like, yes, Jim Schwartz for sure, but my guess is whatever head coach goes to Cleveland, they're gonna keep Jim Schwartz because it's gonna be some newer guy probably, and he's gonna want some, OG advice, some guy who's a veteran coach to give him advice. And I doubt Myles Garrett is gonna want Jim Schwartz to leave, and you have to do whatever it takes to keep Myles Garrett happy, right? So I think Jim Schwartz is definitely off the table. Gus Bradley, it's very uninspiring.
Joseph Ermert said it. It's super lazy hire.
Yeah. It's not to the depths of hell of Nick Swanson, but it almost gives you the same feeling. Obviously, Gus Bradley is a way more experienced defensive coordinator than Nick Swanson, and it won't be as bad as that. But it gives me like even lesser good vibes than Steve Wilkes. You know what I mean? I was just kind of like,
Steve Wilkes wasn't a bad defensive coordinator. He just had a bad Super Bowl.
yeah,
He was solid.
True. Yeah, he was solid.
Better
Just
than, I mean,
Gus Bradley is just it's just uninspiring. Now, Raheem Morris, what scheme does he run? Does he run a 4-3?
Let's see. Let me look it up.
Because if he runs a different scheme, I'm sure they'll ask him to change, and they'll obviously tell him Kasarik is staying no matter what. But I don't know. Does he have experience in running a wide nine? I don't know that. And I mean, that could be a good thing because maybe they can say, hey, cool, we're going to change stuff up. But Kyle seems pretty dead set on running the scheme, even though he doesn't have the horses to do it.
Raheem Morris runs a multiple front Fangio influence hybrid defense. So in fluctuation between the 3-4 and the 4-3.
Okay, but they still have to run the wide nine.
We don't have the personnel to run a 3-4. Then we'd have to change everything. I had to star this. I agree with everything you said. O-line's top priority. Trent has one more year. We need a left tackle, sure. Right guard, sure. Center, sure. Right tackle.
We need everything.
McKivitz, unfortunately, Vince is probably the best they're going to do. They re-signed him. They got to give him a big contract. Trade BA. I think if they could get something for him, but I think they're just going to. They can save. If they designate him with a post June 1st cut, they can split the cost of the money that they owe him, or like the dead cap. We need another pass rusher, Crosby or Trey Hendrickson. The wish would be Crosby, but you're going to have to give away draft picks for him.
You're giving up the farm.
He's older, but you would sign him to money. What about giving Hendrickson? Maybe can he get a couple year deal out of Hendrickson? Maybe two years. 2 years, $50 million. Something like that. I don't know.
Maybe, but there we go, getting older again.
Right. Crosby's great, but what you're gonna have to give up the farm for Crosby.
Yeah.
Unless they just look at next year, maybe they say, well, we'll give you a 2026 or a 2027 draft pick and a 2028 first rounder, and we take Crosby on. I mean, we don't exactly nail the first round anyway, so.
Yeah, but remember, if Crosby becomes available, there's going to be a bidding war for him too.
I don't believe Bosa. Neither do I, Matthew. I don't believe Bosa being the same after the same third ACL tear. I think two are on one knee and one is on the other. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
definitely need help. Yeah, there was this topic that was going around online, and we brought it up here. Matthew was like, do you ever look at a situation where you would trade him if you could get value for Bosa, whether it be draft picks, probably draft picks, like. He's just, I love Bosa to death, but I don't think he's a lifelong Niner player. Like Warner, I can see him being here for life. Same with Kittle. I don't see Bosa being a lifer. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. He's really good when he's healthy, but he's not like, who's the top pass rusher in this league? Bosa's not, I don't think Bosa's one of the top three.
No.
I think Myles Garrett. I think Danielle Hunter and maybe Max Crosby. I think Bosa's like fifth, sixth.
Maybe not even that high.
I don't know. I think Bosa's kind of taken a step back. I don't think he's that dominant edge rusher like his first year when he was really good and he was playing with like D Ford and Eric Armstead and all those guys. He was amazing. But like, I don't know, man. Like when you look at how much of an influence and how much destruction freaking Myles Garrett causes, it's just.
It doesn't help when they have to change defensive coordinators every year as well.
Every year. It's more about personnel and depth than the coach. Even Saleh with multiple scheme when everyone was healthy. Yeah, they need to get healthy. I feel bad that Saleh didn't have any bullets in his gun this year. They sucked. They didn't have any talent.
I know.
That's another thing, too, as we wrap this up. Like, listen, it sucks we lost to the freaking Seahawks. And, yeah, we're third in the talent pool right now after Seattle and the Rams. But we still won 12 games with a freaking busted ass injured roster on both sides of the ball with slow receivers, an aging running back, street free agents, and we still got into the playoffs. I know it's not like a consolation prize league, and I'm all about the old school, like win championship or nothing. But like, if you look at it like that and you say, geez, if we could just be even marginally better than next year, what could we do? Again, do I believe we're going to win the Super Bowl next year? Probably not. Can we nail free agency in the draft and be right back in the conversation with the Rams and the Seahawks? I think we can, personally. But I don't know. They got to hit it. They got to hit it.
They got to do it.
But everybody, thanks for coming through. Me and Mike are going to get out of here. I'll definitely be I'm not totally cemented on what's going on the next couple weeks because it's going to get a little dead. But I definitely will be on the Cover 3 podcast this week. And then as we get closer to the combine, free agency, and the draft, I think me and Mike will definitely pick up stuff too. And we'll probably be debuting a new podcast name, overlay, maybe a new entrance theme or whatever. So be on the lookout for that if you care. Till next time, everyone, stay safe and healthy. If you're in a snowy part of the United States like I am, stay warm, stay safe. And till next time, guys, go Niners. See you on the flip side. Peace.